Hello and welcome to the webinar. We're very excited today to have Joe Garcia, who is the Senior Business Development Manager, National Sales at Lion Financial. Joe has extensive experience in both the finance and swimming pool industries. He previously worked as Home Equity Area Relationship Manager at Capital One and as Vice President and Bank Center Manager at Chase, where he played a key role in marketing efforts. Additionally, Joe served as sales director for the Dallas location of one of the nation's top pool franchises, providing him with valuable firsthand knowledge of the pool industry and specialized financing programs. We've got a lot of great information today. Very much looking forward to it. And I will turn it over to you, Joe.
Hey, Scott, and everyone, thank you so much for today. And really what I want to talk about today, it really is the theme is education around, buying today versus later. And one of the themes as we're talking about this, please think about this, is when we go inside a client's home or they come into our office for the first time, the customer's mindset normally is, man, can I even afford this? That's the mindset that they have. And the goal is a couple of things. Is one is make them change their mindset when you're leaving the house or they're leaving your office to maybe I can afford this to maybe I can afford this and maybe I can afford a little bit more. And we'll walk through some things to kind of help you with that part. And the second thing really too is to do that, we want to be able to provide customers things to think about that they're probably not thinking about when they walk in. And that's our job, meaning yours and ours, to do that. And I can promise you, if we can do that, you're going to see an increase in a lot of different things. So with that said, let's go and get started. Let's turn maybe later into yes today, and we'll talk about financing. So let's move forward with that. So we talk about this at first. Let's get a little bit of a background. And really, when you look back when a lot of this started back in phase one, that was more of the stay-at-home surge. That's when the behaviors shifted from homeowners, went from vacations and entertainments to backyard upgrades. And we all saw that. They came in and literally they were signing a contract before you even gave them the price. That's how it was a few years back in 2020, 21. And, the customers, financial tailwinds, they had, high personal savings. The rates were low. The market, massive demands, in the pool construction side. I remember when I was part of that process. I was there and experienced that every day, multiple leads, every day, multiple closings, contract signings, and a lot of it, customer just didn't even look at the price. They're like, okay, where do I sign? And consumers saw pools as more of a lifestyle upgrade versus anything else because of what was going on. Forward to phase two, a couple of years after that, they went from expansion to hesitation. We all felt that. We saw it. Industry slowdown. There was obviously a decline in demand as the economy kind of like looked a little bit uncertain. The inflation, the instability across the globe kind of shifted more consumer priorities. So they're kind of thinking, do I even need a pool right now? What's that look like? And then the consumers, the travel started happening again. They started to, move that income into the travel budget, things like that, versus, maybe something for at home. So we all saw that. And the impact, we all felt the impact for a couple of years, as you can see. And that's when financing became more critical as cash purchases waned. So they no longer really use cash. They really, they're like, should I use it or not? And then key insight is adapt messaging and offer the flexibility by using financing and reduce the concern from the customer. Now, you kind of move over here to phase three where we're at today. And this is the fun part, team and everyone out there. This is where we're seeing the positive over what's going on the last few months into the year, which is great. Stabilization. And again, the new confidence. There's a lot of positive indicators. The rates have started trending down, especially here at Lion. As far as the rates out there, the post-election, we saw what's happened. We had a little bit of a upward trend toward the end of the year, then it kind of flat out over the next few months as things started to, the reality came in, and it really had the government kind of, okay, this is what we're going to do. And really over the last 45 days or so, you're seeing this. I'm hearing a lot. I'm out in the field. I'm hearing, hey, we're getting more leads. We are seeing multiple leads. We are seeing this. Customers are coming back. I haven't seen a customer in 2 years. They came back today. So we're seeing not just the people that want to buy a pool or thinking about a pool. We're seeing people that have thought about buying a pool over the last couple of years coming in the doors. And then on top of that, you have those people that maybe couldn't get the pool for whatever reason, finance a couple of years ago, coming back in, and they're getting finance. So this is the perfect time that we're in today, that a great start to the year, a great start to the summer. And what better way than to make it even better by talking about finance today? So that's what I'm excited about right now is the outlook for the next few months over the year. And then the last 60 days are an indication you're going to see that a lot. So when you see that opportunity windows, customers are ready to spend. They are. They're coming in right now. They do have questions, but more than ever right now than they have over the last 2.5 years. Guess what? They're excited about the times. They're asking more questions, and they're pulling the trigger. But what we're seeing a lot too as well is customers are like, "Hey, can we finance this?" And that's where we got to leverage the financing piece of these customers on every customer. And when I say every, we're talking about those ones that say, "Hey, I have cash." The ones that say, "Hey, I just want to remodel my pool." The ones that say, "Hey, maybe I have some extra things I want to do in my backyard down later." No, let's do it today. So that's where we have the opportunity to really enhance the customer experience by offering the opportunity to finance the pool, but maybe some other things too as well. So some of the things that we can talk about here down the road. So again, the key insight for contractors, now is the time to re-engage those leads. No better time than today. So again, if you look at this right here, take a picture of the slide. It gives you a history of where we were at before, what happened afterwards, and where we're at today. And I think it's nothing but positive thinking on phase 3, because as one thing I always say, if you positive thinking brings positive results, stay positive out there. Now, as far as financing, it isn't a perk. It's going to be a competitive edge for you. And why is this? This is a big aha moment for me. Almost 60%, 59% of the pool buyers use financing or other methods instead of paying cash. And let me tell you why. What's happened, again, I think Scott alluded to, I was in the banking business before, and one of those was wealth management. And as a wealth management person, I would tell my clients the perfect ideal time to have money in their investments is the time we're living today. And that's why customers are preferring to pay with finance, because they want the cash to work for them in other ways. And that's where we come in and say, "Hey, Mr. Customer, this is the perfect time," and they agree. So right now, close to 60% customers are saying, "Hey, I want to use finance." Now, the irony to all that is our thinking, meaning us on the builder side, on the pool industry side, are thinking, maybe they don't want to use finance. Yes, they do. The thing we have to do is bring it up to the client. Again, give them things to think about they're not thinking about. And one of those things is, okay, hey, do I want to finance? Yes, I do. You got to tell them, be proactive versus reactive. Do not wait until they ask you. You proactively say, "Hey, look, we have a great partner in Line Financial that can help you with your financing. And on top of that, help you finish your backyard today versus later." That's how you do that. And again, here's a bigger thing too. 1 out of every 4 customers would choose financing options provided directly from you, the builder. That's a huge number. So again, being proactive versus reactive, you can drive that. And what you're doing is you're not just referring a partner that you can trust on with us. What you're doing is potentially increasing that average invoice by 20-30% versus the customers thinking no more than 75,000. Now they're thinking maybe I can probably do 90,000 because you offered finance. Now they're thinking maybe I can do that pergola. Maybe I can do the hardscape versus the regular brush rim concrete. Maybe I can expand that pool by an extra 3 to 5 feet versus keep it a small. That is what you're doing, is you're giving the customer that opportunity to build that oasis that they had in the back of their mind all this time versus maybe what they think they could afford. So these are some of the things, again, write these things down. These are the little smart tidbits that you can provide to the clients. Again, things to think about that probably they weren't thinking about. And that's our job, because as you do these small things, what you're doing is increasing that 50-50 chance that they sign or maybe buy a pull today to maybe 51-49 on our advantage, maybe 55-45 in our advantage. And that's what you want to do. So offering flexible financing solutions. Again, they can help you get a more customer base and facilitate more sales. We talked about that. At the end of the day, what you're doing is you're enhancing purchasing power, buying power for the customer. Okay. What the customer does, they will consider once they're thinking, and we'll talk about this in a few seconds. Once you show them that they can afford this, they're no longer going to think, can I even afford this? What are they going to think? Can I get this? Can I get that? Can I get the spal? Can I get the travertine versus the brush and concrete? Can I get, glass tile 1 by 1 inch versus the 6 by 6 ceramic tile? That's what you can do. You give them the grotto, the ability to build things and buy today versus later. That's what you're going to do by offering finance. And then for you that do renovations, that do remodels, nothing better. 100% of the time, every customer, you offer financing. And the reason being is when the customers come in for a remodel, guess what? They have their blinders on. All they want, they have cash, and they say, all I have is $30,000. Offer finance, those blinders come off. You show them how they can afford this. And guess what? That 30 turns into $40,000, $50,000 because they see that low monthly payment. So again, renovations team, if you're out there, make sure you offer it with every customer. I've had a couple of builders do that, and they've seen their increase in sales go up. Not only that, and more contracts, but the average invoice is increasing. So it's a double win for them. So now the highlights. One of the things we're very proud of for us, for Line Financial, we are veteran owned. So what that means is this: we offer, and we've been around 46 years, 46 plus years. No one else can touch us on that. And what that gives you is some great, for the clients, some great products that are unmatched out in the industry. And one of those is 30 years loans. No one else comes in within 10 years of that. We offer 30-year loans. And what that means to the customer, again, a small tidbit. This is what you tell the customer, Mr. Customer, they offer 30 years. What that means is that lower monthly payments. It lowers it on the average anywhere between $75 to $100 just by adding that extra 10 years. Now, here's the funny thing is, these customers, they average pay off these loans in 5 or 6 years. So they're not going to pay a full 30 years, but they're getting that lower monthly payment. So again, unmatched 30 years. We go as low as 660 on credit scores. Minimum loan amount. Again, renovations teams, pool services out there. We go as low as $5,000. And up to $200,000 on a single loan. Does that mean we're capped? No, that means we can do more loans. And we did one for over $800,000 not too long ago. So we can do 200, 400, it just be separate loans, but low 5,000. So for you that are in the spa industry, for those of you that do remodels or the pool service, and you have to fix the, you have to fix the equipment, that $4,000, upgrade the equipment to over 5,000. Guess what? Now they can finance that versus them telling you, no, maybe I'm going to have to wait, because we all know if you're servicing the equipment and you have to replace something, it's better to replace everything versus one thing. That way they're all in the same coherent type of usage. So with that said, minimum $5,000, take advantage of that. Now, another industry leading, I come back from the secured lending experience in the bank world. I can tell you there, banks are regulated. They're only capped at so much numbers. We, on approved credit, we can go up to 60%. And this is what this means. And let me explain that to you real quick. Why is that important? There's two things that everyone looks at to get approved: the credit score and the debt to income ratio, better known as DTI. And what that looks like is this, is that because we're able to go up to a 60%, what happens there is that consumer, that's been carrying those balances month over month over the last year, which we've seen a lot over the last year. These customers in today's environment are carrying high balances. Well, if they're in the 40s or 50s, guess what? They probably decline somewhere else. With us, we go up to 60%. That's what that means. We're tackling the economy now where the customers carry that balance. Guess what? We're able to help those customers out. So up to 60%. Now, here's why I'm really excited about this. And I was talking to my president earlier today, and we were just going back and forth about, our team out there, out here at Lion. We have 115 plus employees in our company in Lion Financial. And what does that mean to you, the builder, and to the customers? Is that each application is reviewed by our specialists. When I say specialists, you're talking about people that have been around 12 plus, 15 plus. We have an associate that's been around 20 plus years, 25 plus years, Jesse Woods out there. 25. What does that mean? It's experience. We've gone through everything. We've seen everything. We know how this works. We know how to overcome obstacles. We know how to bring solutions to your customers. So that's where that comes in, is that experience factor. 46 plus years, people within the company, 115 plus associates that are an extension of your teams. Okay. And what that looks like is, okay, we got your six. As Mr. Lyon says, we got your back, we have your six, and that's what we do here. Now, another thing I'm very proud of, military programs, and we have true military programs. We do offer discounted fees. We help out our veterans. Our veteran leader is a true advocate in more ways than one, and it's by actions, not by words, and that's what we all do. We follow that. So just know, as a builder, we have your six. As a consumer, we're always going to have their six too as well. So I'm excited about that part. Now, again, I cannot talk about it more enough. Veteran owned, veteran trusted. 1 out of every 4 clients that we provide a loan for are either active duty or retired. Think about that. 1 out of every 4. It's a brotherhood out there, and we are part of that brotherhood. Scott.
Yeah, I did not know that that you were so involved with the veterans and that you're veteran owned. That actually makes just a difference to me personally. We did have a question from Wendy Del Rey, which might be echoed with some other people. And she asked, are we going to be sending out this webinar recording afterwards? She's having some technical problems just on her end. And the answer is yes. This webinar will be available within 24 hours to everyone who registered. So put your mind at rest on that as well. Just one more thing before we keep going. You mentioned you were in secured lending. What does that mean? What's the difference between secured and unsecured lending?
Scott, that's a great question. And I get asked that. And here's a big difference. The biggest difference is this. Secured lending means just that. It's secured by collateral. And meaning, I would say 9.9 times out of 10, that means a house and a home. And I can tell you this, in today's economic environment, customers are beginning a little bit weary about putting a lien on their home. Okay. And that's where we come in. 95% of our lenders, there's no lien on the house. It's a truly an unsecured product and from the house. So when they hear that, it perks up their ears, because a lot of them thinking, again, it's those one things customers weren't thinking about, we want them to think about. And I just had a customer this past week where they said, hey, I talked to this bank and they offered me this and it was great. And I said, yeah, but did they also advise you about the, using your home collateral? Oh, I didn't know that. Yes. And her happiness morale went from here to here, because she's like, man, I don't know if I want my house. So by letting them know that we're unsecured, it excites them a little bit more, knowing they don't have to use the home as collateral. So the biggest difference, secured, unsecured. Secured means there's collateral, normally the house. Unsecured means it's no collateral. And again, being around 46 plus years and the credibility that we've been able to establish, Mr. Lyon, over that time has allowed us to do that. So, and then going back to your initial thought about the veteran owned, I got to tell you, Scott, when we say that, and when I go visit places, when the team that we have in place go visits out there and all across America, if it's Florida, North Carolina, if it's California, uh, Texas, where I'm at, um, the military personnel, when they hear about us, that they live on base or they live off base, and they hear that we offer, we're veteran owned, it's just it's like what I call a sticky product, meaning they hear veteran owned and they're going to stick with us. And for the builder, what that means is when they stick with us, they stick with you because we're an extension of you. So whenever the builder's out there, designer, you're talking about veterans, a veteran-owned company, mention us because I promise you, if you're talking to a military personnel or a retired veteran, you're going to see their lights light up, and they're going to sit there and say, you know what? And they're going to share stories. My son this, my daughter that, and they get excited. So that's why we really focus on that, because it is a brotherhood, and we really advocate. And again, no bigger advocator than Mr. Lyon himself.
Just one more before we move on. I know you've got some stuff to cover. That 59% number for all the pools that are financed in some way, that really surprised me. Do you think that's widely known throughout the industry, that well over half
You,
are?
you know, it's not, because a lot of these builders and designers, because again, we're not as confident talking about finance, and that's why we're doing this today. It's because they're not confident. We don't ask the questions, or we don't bring it up, and we don't bring it up. We assume. And the one thing I say is this: if you're going to assume the opposite. Okay. If you're going to assume they don't want financing, assume that they don't, and share with them financing. And I promise you, what's going to happen is going to increase your buying power. But yes, that many people are ready to finance, but a lot of us do not offer or talk about finance for a couple of things, because we're thinking, maybe the customer doesn't want it, but really at the end of the day, it's because maybe we're not as confident talking about it. It is finance, by the way. And this is the one thing I say to everybody. We don't want you to be the finance experts. That's us. Line Financial is a finance expert. You are the pool expert. But be the segue. Transition into finance to increase your lead to sell ratio, to increase your sell to dig ratio, to increase the buying power of the customer by offering finance. But yeah, that was an aha moment that we uncovered, and when we did the study, that was a good one.
Cool.
So again, I cannot stress enough. If I could, if, I will. I'm said if I can frame this slide, I'm going to frame the slide and take it with me, because I love it here. So with that said, now project tips. Again, a lot of us are used to maybe knowing a finance company that does just pools only, a finance company that just does outdoor home improvement things like outdoor kitchens or pavers. Guess what? We can do both. We do all outdoor home improvement projects. Uh, you know, outside of solar, we can do everything in the backyard. So if a customer's thinking about, you know what, I want to build that $20,000 outdoor kitchen. If I want to add I want to add travertine or marble into my decking, but maybe I have to use somebody else. We can do that. We can do a loan with multiple contractors under one loan, which customers like. If a customer wants to do a separate loan for each one, we can do that too as well. I'm out in the area. What's big right now is metal buildings. And guess what? We can do that too. So we're not just a pool finance company. We are all around type of finance company around the outdoor home improvement project. So I know a lot of us don't see that. But again, we have the ability to do pool landscape, pool outdoor kitchen, pool pavers, pool, pizza, pool outdoor bar, whatever you want to do. We can do all those things like that. Now, I talked about this, and something I'm very proud to say is this: lower rates. Now, we do have the lowest rates, okay? And let me tell you why. 7.94 in 20-year terms. And the reason I say that is this: we offer this to every customer across the footprint, and not in selected states, not in in certain areas of the country. It's across the footprint. And that's something you got to ask, because we can do that across everybody else, across footprint. So when you're thinking the lower rates, We have that. We've always had that. We've been a leader in that, and we'll continue. And the fact that the strength of our brand that has evolved over the 46 plus years, the credibility that we have over the 46 plus years, has allowed us to do this, has allowed the lenders to come to us and say, hey, we have this for you. Not us going out to them coming to us, which is a big bonus for you. So we have the ability to do this. And again, no one better than the team that we have back in Mooresville, North Carolina, that can help every customer. They help with this right here. They ensure that we provide the lowest rates to the customers. And again, I'm very proud to say we have 150 plus, 15 plus associates out there that are working through these files on a quick basis to turn around and fund them for you. They're providing the best rates and terms for the customers. Now, my favorite part, and those who know me know this is my favorite part right here. One thing I love is to educate, and this is the area. This is where the customers that are thinking, can I afford this? Maybe I can't. You change them to where they can. This is the area where the customer's thinking, I can only get this, and they can go higher because of this. So one of the things that we do, and again, we have a team out here that we call the Magnificent Seven out here that can assist you and your teams is this. We will help educate your team around finance, provide them tools to overcome certain obstacles. And one of the tools that we do is this, the loan calculator. And at the end, I'll have a slide that you can scan and contact me. But what we're able to do is go out and in person do this, or over a Teams or Zoom's call and do this. We would teach your teams how to use this, because a lot of us, yeah, we know how to do this. We can sit there and kick a number and then you'll see a monthly payment of $832. There's a lot behind this. It's substance behind this. We'll teach you how to take this and say, hey, Scott, you'll pull about $100,000. Okay. Your monthly payment, probably no more than $1,000 a month. And Scott's like, okay, yeah, no more than $1,000 a month, Joe. Yeah. Okay. No more than 1,000. He's already thinking, man, my budget's $1,000 because I gave it to Joe. No, I gave it to the customer, which is Scott. So Scott's overthinking 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Guess what? We do the calculator pops up, and guess, 832, Scott, 835. And when he sees that number, he's like, oh, this is where the mindset goes from, can I afford this, to no, I can afford this. They see that number. All they're seeing now is 832, and all they're hearing is that's $170 less than what my budget is, and quote unquote the budget that Joe gave you. That's what we teach to your customer, to your associates, how to use this calculator and explain why to the customer, why it's a perfect time today to buy today. Okay. So again, it's the what's, whys, and hows. I can tell you this, another big difference between us and anybody else, Line Financial and anybody else, is this. We're more than just a finance company. We can come out and we can hold a meeting and educate and teach sales and how to do this, how to overcome obstacles. When you have the experience that we do, when you have an experience of a veteran of over 27 years at a company, or someone that I've been in secured in this over 30 plus years, we've been around. I've been around a lot, so you can tell. But the big thing here is this. We would teach your teams to focus more on payments versus the rates. And I promise you, when we do this, the customers thinking, those who are left are thinking about the rates, they're not going to think about the rate when they see this. They're going to see why it's important to buy today, because really at the end of the day, the rate should be far from their minds. It's the inflation factor that should be worried about, because the average, increases 3 to 5% on the yearly basis. So this is where that's where they can be. We would teach them how this pool can be affordable, this project. And here's what happens. When Scott sees that low monthly payment, 832, what he's going to do is sit there, hey, Joe, but my budget's $1,000. What more can I get? Oh, great question, Scott. We can go ahead and get that upgraded tile that you were thinking about. We can go ahead and get that grotto that you thought about. We can go ahead and get that spa, make it from a 6x6 to maybe an 8x8 or 9x9 spa. Increase the that's what it does. So in turn, that 832 turns to $1,000, $100,000 turns to $115,000, $120,000. That's what this does. So again, at the end, let me know. This is one of the things that we teach. This is the biggest thing that we focus on, and how to teach your associates to do this. Now, the benefits. Again, builder benefits portal. One of the things with Lion, again, we first to market innovators. Um, we were the first ones to come out here to utilize the portal. What this does for you is allows you to track your customers' course. Meaning, by the time they apply, you will see a pop up in your portal. You'll see, Joe Garcia has applied, and it tells you what stage you're in. If I'm missing documents, if I'm missing my ideas, things like that. If they're already in the process of the construction, they already started, you're able to see what stage you're in. You're able to upload things if you need to, things like that. We also provide what we call the dealer ID. It's basically a unique ID number that you as a builder are assigned to, that you'll use across over time. So that's what that does. And then second to none. I got to tell you, the marketing team that we have, shout out to our marketing team. The resources that we have for you. We have custom links for your page. We have custom materials upon request. And on here is a perfect example. And one of the things that I've really been focusing on, and we have over the last few weeks, the past month, is the QR code that we have. Team, if a best practice, do that. Again, call me, we can talk about that. But again, second to none, marketing team we have out there, a big shout out to them on this part. Now, here's where we come in. Please scan the QR code. There's my contact information. You have my email, you have my phone number. Call me. We have questions. Let's set up a time. Let's set up a time and talk and dive deep on how Lion Financial and myself can help you increase your clients' buying power, increase your lead to sell ratio, and increase your sell to dig ratio. Those are some of the things that we can do out here. Again, we're available in all states. We have the Beneficent 7 that can assist you in accomplishing this.
That is beautiful stuff. I've got several questions that it's hard to pick the best one. Could you just talk a little more about the psychology of monthly payments? I just thought that was so powerful, and I know that's kind of how the way that that people think. And I just thought that was brilliant. Could you just talk about your own experience with that?
Scott, that's great, because that is the focal point. And I think you had the perfect adjective for that, the psychology around this. And the customer's mindset, again, as we visit their homes for the first time, or if they come into the office for the first time and talk about that pool, and remember this, team, on the average, a consumer takes up to 2 years to make a decision on the pool. So they've been thinking about this. But when they come in, Scott, they're thinking, okay, it's $100,000, $150,000. They're thinking the big number, okay? And what we have to do is make them things to think about. They weren't, and bring that number down from here to here. And once we bring it down to here, we create that aha moment to where they sit back and that light switches. And at that moment, when we did that example, and we tell them it's only $832, Scott, their eyes open up. And they're no longer thinking, can I afford this? What they're thinking is, what else can I afford? What more can I afford? And that's what happens. Again, this is a big purchase. This is a big investment. This is to a customer. This is the second biggest thing next to a house. Sometimes even more. I've seen pools out there that probably cost more than the house, but it's a huge investment. So they're a little timid at first. And what they've heard over the past, or whatever myths that they might have heard, it's our job to make them feel that they can, and us, Lion Financial, our job to help you, the builder, give you the tools to do that. And the way to do that is go from here to here, make the customer feel comfortable. I like to break it down to, well, hey, Scott, this is going to cost you a Starbucks, a Happy Meal, and a dessert on a weekly basis. That's how much a pool. Because again, the customer's thinking, okay, I have a whole new $832 worth of expense. No, they don't. They do not. What they have is building a pool changes their lifestyle. There'll be one day less going out to eat. An average consumer spends $75 going out to eat. If they cut back one day a week, 4 times a month, that's $300. that they're moving, and this is again, this is what I teach. They're moving from the food expense budget to the pool budget. So that 832 really, it's only $500 more a month they're spending versus 832. Those are the things that I teach them to do that. So the customer feels, oh, okay, well, I can do that. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, no, I was following the process with you and it became real. I could see it in my mind. I could see the pool, I could see the water, I could see the kids splashing. When you bring it down to a number that I can afford, then I'm like, yeah, this could be real. This could be my life. Um, a lot of people are aware of higher interest rates ever since probably 2020 or 2021. What's the best way to overcome customer sentiment on recent higher interest rates in the past few years?
That's one of my favorite things I like to tackle. I love those challenges when the customer or they might have a concern about that, and the builder says, "Hey, customers is okay. Let me talk to them." And here's what we do as a team is um, we remind customers because we have 46 plus years of experience, and we have lenders that we have 30-year terms. That 30-year term tackles that concern. And and what we do is do what we just did, do the calculator, advise a customer over 30 years, this is what it can be compared to 20 years. This is a monthly payment. And when they see that, I can tell you this, Scott, a lot of times, I probably won't say seven, maybe even 8 times out of 10, the customer doesn't even bring up the rate thing anymore with me because I'm able to provide the solution and really more important, the why today, and versus sitting back and having, understanding the rates are high. Well, honestly, they're not high compared to today's environment or last year's environment, maybe compared to 5 years ago. But so is that pool, so is that car, so is that loaf of bread or the gallon of milk, and eggs, So what we have, 30-year terms, unmatched, 10 more than anybody else, industry leading, innovative. That's what we are. So that's how we tackle that. I love when people tell me the rates. No, no, let's time out. Let's talk about that. You know, um, come at me with that and we'll see what happens. I love that part.
How do your financing options compare to traditional bank loans?
I think the one thing is, fast to the consumer. The average bank will take anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks to fund, because the type of product. Um, the contractor might have to go into the office, into the bank to sign a document. So you have that, and biggest thing for the consumer in today's environment is the liens. Again, they kind of worry about that. We 30 plus years unmatched. We've been able to fund loans as quick as 9 days on the average, 14 days now compared to before. And so the multiple types of products that we have a lot of solutions for customers depending on who they are. And the biggest thing for me really, again, goes back two things. One, veteran owned. We got the military programs. We have true military programs to help the veterans out there. And two, the team we have back in North Carolina, in Mooresville, in the office that houses 115 associates. And the industry that we do, I can tell you this, that's probably about twice or 3 times more than anybody else. And what that means is we have experience, we have been through everything, but I can tell you this, number one goal for us is the client experience. And we have two clients, the builder, the dealer, and the actual client, the end user.
This is kind of a follow-up to that same question. So why should I recommend your financing options instead of letting customers secure their own loans through a traditional bank?
Yeah, I go back to one of my other sayings. I say a lot, proactive versus reactive. Here's the thing. If we're going to assume the customer has equity in the home and they just bought the home, again, this is where we educate the designers because a lot of them don't know finance. So to them, it's new. And I think this is a great opportunity for them to learn is secured means liens on the house, which means equity, which means that they had to have equity. So if we assume the customer, Scott, you being the customer, you told me you just bought the house, you closed on your house a month ago, 6 months ago, no down payment. There's no equity in your house. So if the customer goes to their bank first and they're told, oh, you're declined because you have no equity, their excitement goes from here to here. Be proactive. Be proactive where offer the customer the longest, ability to be able to get longest terms, 30 years, be able to get their funds quicker, have multiple products that we're able to have either direct cash to consumer or the state funding to you that no one else can do. That's who we are. And then the biggest thing again, 46 plus years of experience. You know, we know how to do it. We've been around the block. We're not new. We're not, 5, 6, 7 years old, 10 years old. We've been around 46 plus years. And I cannot stress the experience that we have in the office, either lending experience, sales experience, things like that. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things I would say.
We've got a question from Cesar Hernandez who asks, can this be a revolving loan?
No, it's not a revolving loan. It's a fixed rate. It's not like a credit card. It's like a personal loan unsecured. So they get a fixed rate. They are able to pay these off early. No prepayment penalty, which is great for the consumer. And like I said, the average consumer pays this off in 5.5, 6 years. So the great thing is it's a fixed rate, and the customer paid off as quick as they can.
Sweet. We've got time for one more. Is pools all you do?
No. Again, there's that myth. I've heard people say, "Hey, we thought about this, but I don't know if we can do that." Yes, we can. We can do pools. We can do pergolas. We can do fences. We can do metal buildings. We can do things like that. And again, if there's any kind of doubt or if any kind of questions, scan the QR code right there. Ask me, email me, call me. Our financial linefinancial.net website. If you're already working one of us out here, ask our business development manager. We have quite a few out here. Again, we got a great team out here. We got Grant Snyder out here in Texas. We got Christian out there in North Carolina in the Southeast. We've got Caitlin out there in Florida. We got Scott out there in the Northwest, and we got Jesse Woods. Again, a lot of experience across the nation. So we have a wealth of knowledge out there and has been around in different industries in the pool, like myself, in the lending in the space before. It just we do a lot more than just pools.
Well, I just want to thank you, Joe. I really did learn a lot about financing. I'd like to thank all of our attendees. I think this was a really informative webinar. And we still have a half day of work, so I think we'll get back to it. Let's get out there and build some pools.
Yeah, and don't forget, Scott, you're looking for a pool. I know some guys, and I know a good lending company.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Joe.
Have a great one.